a chance to look at that ATV thing for you, but that's on my list.
Good evening. It's 6:02. I'd like to get started. So welcome to tonight's meeting. This is a regular meeting of the Manitou Springs City Council for August the 5th, 2025. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would the city clerk please call the roll?
City Council members Judith Chandler,
Present.
John Shada.
Here.
Julie Wolf,
Here.
Nancy Fortune,
Present.
Michelle Weatherholt. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Natalie Johnson.
Here.
And Mayor John Graham.
Present. Thank you. Great. Okay, council, next item of business, or first item really, is the approval of the agenda. You've all had a chance to look it over. So I would look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Move approval.
Motion by Councilor Shada. Do we have a second? Second by Councilor Fortune. Elena, how do you want us to vote? Electronically? Okay, let's vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, great. Thank you. We're off and running. So next we have public comment on non-agenda items. This is the portion of the meeting when we open the floor up to members of the audience or the public so they can make comments about things that are not otherwise on the agenda. I know we have at least two people wishing to speak tonight. I'll call these in the order they were received. Jordan Scott, sir, if you'd come forward. And we ask that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes. When you come in, give us your name and address. And council's policy is not to respond. We will listen, and we have your form so we get your contact information. And it helps to be about 3 inches from the microphone. The button in the center bottom there, if you press that, it should light up green. I'm sorry, go ahead and get situated.
Okay, can you hear me? All right, and my name is Jordan Scott. I'm at 2020 North Academy Boulevard, Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I'm just coming to you today. I am a local investigative journalist here in El Paso County, and I have been doing the work that perhaps some of you may have not been doing by going out to local pride celebrations to look into the accusations that have been made that these festivals that were being hosted locally were hosting adult content under the guise of family-friendly city events. So what I have found over the past 3 years looking into this at Pride is very concerning in your town in particular. You see, this all started in 2023 when a 14-year-old I will not name was put on stage in Soda Springs with a blow-up doll sex toy with the mouth duct taped shut and no written across the face to dance for dollars and drag. When I went back the following year, last year, to do a follow-up, I was trespassed by your PD for doing my job, then chased out of town and almost jumped 2 to 3 times for filming, told to never come back to this town. Well, I came back this year, and I've spoke with your chief and commander as well about the risky behavior happening at Pride celebrations. But there seems to be no willingness to staff Pride with the PD, which has put us at risk when we're doing our job at the very least. You know, I know you have a small force, but in Colorado Springs, they have a lot of staff from the force at Pride, not just for the parade. So this leads up to this year when we captured yet another scene of inappropriate burlesque striptease behavior. This happened, there's 3 different strip teases to where underwear, they stripped down to their underwear. And yeah, this was labeled as family friendly and it caused parents to be horrified. So what I want to do is just close out with this is a letter I got from a parent that was concerned. That it attended, and I'm going to close out with this. As a mother, I had concerns when I attended the Manitou Pride Fest. As I walked around the booths, I noticed a lot of anti-God displays. I felt uncomfortable as a Christian woman. For advertising all are welcome as a community of love, I actually felt I had to hide my beliefs in fear. As a mother, my concerns were as followed. A man walking around with a very small Speedo depicting every detail of his genitalia as children walking around. During performances, I was confused as to why there was stripping of clothing and dollar bills being thrown everywhere by children, like I was at a strip club. I saw a little girl with that was no older than 8, covering her eyes and shaking her head no as she sat in the front. Sexually explicit dancing at a family-friendly event. I thought you had to be 18 to see that kind of explicit behavior. As an adult, I was even uncomfortable. The dancers interacted with the audience in a lap dance type of entertainment style. Boundaries of morals, ethics, and respect did not exist. I am for accepting others' free will to choose their lifestyle, but I do not want to be forced to accept what they should be doing behind closed doors. Young girls scantily dressed as older men looked on is dangerous breeding ground. I saw a young drag mom bring their drag child as a year-old performer, and the dance involved the drag child rubbing all over their own self. This was extremely uncomfortable, not knowing if this was a minor. All clothes shed that yells grew louder, encouraging this activity, forced to see sexual fetishism is not family safe or friendly event. It felt like exploitation, if anything. So what I'm asking and calling for is that going into next year, you reevaluate these permits, because this is certainly only behavior you would see in an adult zoned business for adult performance. And this is not a family friendly event. Thank you.
Thank you. Next then, the next speaker is Yolanda Edwards. And again, if you could observe the 3-minute limit, that would be good.
My name is Yolanda Edwards. I live in Colorado Springs.
Again, can we have your address more specifically?
Right. 2020 North Academy Boulevard. Sorry. So like with Jordan, me and him, we have been attending these Pride events for the last couple of years. Last year was a bit bizarre, I will say. I was harassed, stalked, attacked at Pride Manitou last year. And then when I did defend myself, it was the police asking me to leave. I don't tend to defend myself in any way other than waving my hands when I see something coming at my face. So I don't know what exactly was told to the police, but they definitely lied. And so I was removed. This year we planned a little differently. I stayed out of the event. And I was still followed, stalked, harassed, and I had to get the police. Even though I didn't even go into the event, I stayed outside of the event, and these people were still following me around. And it's interesting because before I got there, I had talked to the police, asking them if I was going to be removed for practicing a constitutionally protected activity in the public park. And I was told no. And this year, while I didn't go in, they still tried to say that I couldn't. Which obviously this is a public park, this is a public event. If you don't want people from the public going to your event, they need to be private. I do not appreciate being stalked, harassed, and chased around in a public park just because these people think that they own the park for the day. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, if y'all give them permission to put whatever rules they want on this park as they have it. But if that's the case, then we need to have another discussion about what is constitutionally protected during these events. And I do hope that we can have a conversation about that. As, like I said, I have been getting conflicting messages from the police. Yes, I can be there. No, I can't be there. So we got to figure this out before next year because I will be back. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Again, her name, Yolanda Edwards, 2020 North Academy Boulevard, Colorado Springs. And I believe that's Suite 261. Is that correct? Suite 261. And I'll be able to provide this to the city clerk. Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak to a non-agenda item? Okay, if not, let's move on. The next item is our consent calendar. We have 3 items on the consent calendar this evening. The first is approval of the July 15th, 2025 City Council regular meeting minutes. Second is approval of the July 22nd, 2025 City Council special meeting minutes. And the third item is approval of a general services agreement with West Fork Construction for the Creek Walk Trail 4 project. If any council member would like to pull an item off to discuss separately, we can do that. If not, I would look for a motion to approve and accept the consent calendar as presented.
I move approval of the consent calendar.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, second by Councilor Fortune. Let's vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. The consent calendar is approved. Judith, I might ask if you want to make a comment at this time?
Thank you, Mayor. I just, the contract itself was 287 pages with a lot of narrative. And what I want to make sure that that every council member has in contracts, a line item sheet so that we don't have to read the narrative 287 pages. So what I think we understand what I'm talking about, because I read the contract, I reviewed the contract and I didn't take away that I understood exactly how the money was going to be spent. So just in the future, I would like to see that. I'd like to know line item and a total, which is typically presented in contracts of this nature and certainly with this price tag. So that's my expectation. Thank you.
Well, that's okay. Thank you. I don't know how much work that puts on city staff. But Denise, if you can.
Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll ask PPRTA. This is CDOT PPRTA. This is several, but we'll look at it and see what we can make happen to make it easier. You
Okay, I
bet.
understand. I think it would be easier for council. It may be I'm not sure how much work it is for staff. So depending on what it is. Okay, great. Let's move on then. First business item is resolution number 0925, a resolution of the City of Manitou Springs, Colorado, approving an IGA with the Pikes Peak Regional Transportation Authority concerning the reimbursement to the city for Hiawatha Gardens architectural services performed by Workshop 40. And I know we have Karen Rowe here.
Karen, do you want to come
Do
up?
you want to call her?
Thank you.
Okay. Karen, you have the floor.
Yeah, Karen Rowe, consultant with the city. My company's name is Nomadics, and we have the memo in there on why it's needed. But there was a lot of work done last year with Workshop 40 for Hiawatha under PPRTA 2 capital projects. There was not the procedure followed where a 3-party contract was in place. And so we went to PPRTA CAC and board in, I think it was April and May of this year, and they approved the contracts, and we had to break out what work qualified for the PPRTA 2 scope. So like, for example, the pavilion doesn't qualify for it because the project is actually the transit mobility hub. So we came to an agreement with them on what the breakout would be, what the cost of the contracts would be, what the percentage would be. Then the invoices, I reviewed them. They were different than the contract amounts. And I calculated out how much then would be owed based on the invoices and what was agreed upon at the board, PPRTA board. But when I submitted them to PPRTA, they said, okay, now you got to go back and get a 3-party contract signed. And you have to go back and get PPRTA indemnified on the insurance. And I'm like, I don't know how we're going to do that. So anyway, Jeff worked with PPRTA attorney, and they came up with this resolution and IGA between the city and PPRTA to get the invoices paid. So hopefully that makes sense. It's about a bunch of process oriented information, but that's one reason why I'm here. And that's one reason I do appreciate you approving the Creek Walk contract, because I have to go to PPRTA and get that 3-party agreement approved next week. So we're making sure the city's really following the process now, and there won't be issues in the future, but we're cleaning up a little bit of what happened in the past.
Great, thank you for that explanation. And council, I think the memorandum in our packet, it went into somewhat more detail, but I think it was fairly easy to follow. Certainly, if there are any questions or comments from council, this is a good time. Do we have anything? Judith?
This is just, the first thing is just housekeeping on the IGA itself. Just want to point out a couple typos. On the third whereas, you state a date of November 6th and the year is 20212. Just wanted to have you clear up the year on that.
Okay.
And then on the next page, on page 2, under now therefore, number 2, you list the cities. I think it's the first like kind of run-on sentence. It says like 6th amended and restated intergovernmental agreement among El Paso County, the city of Colorado Springs, comma, the city, comma. I think you just missed putting a city in there on that line. So those are the only 2 typos. My only question, in the spirit of transparency, is in the memorandum, it states that inadvertently, this was missed. I'd like to know how this happened. How did we inadvertently miss bringing PPRTA into this in the first place?
Yeah.
So I would like to have a clear answer on that. We just inadvertently missed it on 3 different contracts.
Denise, do you want to respond?
Yeah, the staff that we had on at the time did not follow up and do these items. So now we have Karen, who is representing us at PPRTA, and she's also ensuring that we do the documentation accordingly. So she's representing us at PPRTA. We have planning and Public Works both trained on exactly what needs to be done to ensure that PPRTA is followed. And on our checklist, contract checklist, we now have PPRTA on that to ensure that we follow the process. So it was just, unfortunately, a staff member did not follow the process.
Thank you. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Other comments from council? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve this. Nancy, thank you.
I move to adopt resolution number 0925, a resolution of the city of Manitou Springs, Colorado, approving an IGA with the Pikes Peak Regional Transportation Authority concerning the reimbursement to the city for Hiawatha Gardens architectural services performed by Workshop 40.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, let's vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. Karen,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate the work you've done in disentangling all this, and
Yeah,
hopefully this time, a week from tomorrow, we'll have it all squared away.
yeah, and it'll be nice, another $130,000. So
Okay.
that's the big thing to smile about. So thank you.
Great, thank you. We'll look forward to that reimbursement check. Great. Okay, next item, resolution number 1025, a resolution of the city of Manitou Springs, Colorado, approving a land donation agreement and authorizing the acceptance of the donation of parcels of real property with El Paso County Assessor parcel numbers 74043-03-11, 74043-03013, and 74043-03015. And we have Jillian Rossi from our Park and Rec Director. So Jillian, you have the floor.
Yeah, good evening, City Council. Jillian Rossi, Parks and Recreation Director. So these three parcels are directly adjacent to the south side of Black Canyon Open Space. They would add about 1.5 acres to the open space, which would be protected just like the rest of Black Canyon. OSAC, our Open Space Advisory Committee, voted in support unanimously of all three of these parcels. I think they'd be great additions, and we're hoping you vote to approve this evening.
Great, thank you. And there was, of course, more material in the council packet describing this in more detail and with maps to describe it. So council, if you have questions or comments, anybody have anything? It's pretty easy to accept something, a land donation, so not a whole lot. Okay, Michelle, please.
I move to adopt resolution number 1025, a resolution of the city of Manitou Springs, Colorado, approving a land donation agreement and authorizing the acceptance of the donation of parcels of real property with El Paso County Assessor, parcel numbers 74043-03-011, 74043-03-013, and 74043-03-015.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Fortune. Any further discussion? Let's vote. Why, I'm sorry, Julie.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to publicly state that we appreciate the estate of Gordon and Marta Price for making this donation to the city.
Well said. Anything else? Okay, now let's go ahead and vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. Jillian,
Thanks,
thank you.
everyone.
And please express our appreciation to your staff and to the OSAC folks. I know everybody's worked on this diligently for quite a while. Thank you. Next item, resolution number 1125, a resolution of the city of Manitou Springs, Colorado, finding that the construction of the Mesa Tank 2 water tank is completed. And we've got our finance director, Becca Davis, here.
Good evening, Finance Director Rebecca Davis. So for the Mesa Tank 2, we got a DOLA grant. And at this time, we are applying for our final reimbursement from DOLA. But in order to to get this final reimbursement, they do need to see official proof that the project is completed. So, and they've stated that a resolution by city council saying it's completed would be the proof that they need. So before you is a resolution stating that, yes, the Mesa Water Tank 2 is completed.
Denise, please.
Mayor, I just want to mention that many times you get certificate of occupancies or those type of things, but with this water tank, you don't get that. That's why we need a resolution from you. Otherwise, we would have proof from, for inspections, et cetera, but the only thing they will accept is really a resolution from city council on this.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. Judith?
I'm really happy to move to approve resolution number 1125, a resolution of the city of Manitou Springs, Colorado, finding that the construction of the Mesa Tank 2 is complete.
Do we have-
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Fortune. Any further discussion? Let's vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Okay, thanks, Becca. Next item is first reading of ordinance number 1625, an ordinance submitting a ballot issue to the registered voters of the city of Manitou Springs at the city's November 4, 2025 regular election to increase the city's excise tax on ticket sales and admission fees. And we had we have a copy of the proposed ordinance in our packets. I think council, we've discussed this. We had a public meeting a week ago. I think we're pretty well informed on it. I don't know if anybody has questions or comments they'd like to make. Julie?
I'm ready to make a motion unless someone wants to have questions or comments. Oh, Nancy.
Nancy, let's see what you got to say.
Yeah, I was wondering if, instead of saying thereafter by adding an additional 9% to the city's current 5%, that we say up to or between 0 and 14%, because I think it'd be very good to have the flexibility, that the city have the flexibility to move it up and down depending on what our circumstances are, as opposed to having to go back to a vote. And is that possible to do, Jeff?
Yeah, it's up to you if you wanted to add that flexibility, because the way it's written right now would just be a 14%
Right.
tax.
Yeah, I just think from an optics standpoint, it would be better, and from a flexibility standpoint, it would be better.
Okay, and Nancy, again, if you could, I've got it in front of me now, the ordinance. If you could just explain how you'd like to modify that.
1, 2, 3, the fourth line down, say, and by such amounts as are raised annually thereafter by adding an additional, or by, help me out here, Jeff.
Yeah, okay, so I can give you some language. I'm gonna try and combine a couple different options here to make it read right. Shall City of Manitou Springs taxes be increased by $2,500,000, and then parentheses, same number, annually in the first fiscal year commencing January 1, 2026. And I'm gonna make some changes here. And by such amounts as are raised annually thereafter, by adding an additional 9% to the city's current 5% excise tax rate on ticket sales and admission fees. Hold on. Should I get this right? And shall the rate of such tax be allowed to be decreased or increased by the Manitou Springs City Council without further voter approval, so long as the rate of the tax does not exceed 14%, and with the resulting tax revenue being allowed to be collected and spent by the city without regard to any expenditure, revenue raising, or other limitation contained in Article 10, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution or any other law.
Yeah, that sounds good. I did have another question too. It says 2.5 mil in the second line, and in the briefing that was given last week, I think we told the public 2.4 mil. So I was wondering why that is, why it's 2.5 mil, why we have to have an exact number in here anyway.
Okay, so Tabor requires that you basically make an estimate of the amount of excess revenue you're going to generate from the tax in the first fiscal year. My understanding, 2.5 was the upper amount estimated.
It's
But
close.
2.4, we could change it. It's just needs to be in there.
Okay, I understand that it needs to be in there, but I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we did tell the public 2.4. But if it's only an estimate, 2.5 works as well, I suppose.
The rule is that any amount you raise over that amount in your ballot has to be refunded, or you have to get permission to keep it. So I don't recommend that you overestimate. I recommend that you get it right, but it's an estimate, right? So it needs to be relatively accurate.
Thank you. Julie?
Jeff, is there any downside to the proposed change? I don't mean politically, in
Yeah.
terms of people voting, but when we have up to a certain amount, does that just mean that council would have to vote annually, or would we
No,
have to, how
you-
does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing you did with the marijuana tax, basically. It legally, there really isn't a downside. It just gives city council more flexibility to pick the rate that you think's appropriate based on the conditions of any particular year. So you wouldn't have to do it every year. You would basically set it. So what happens is that, let's say this gets approved. Then what you would do is you'd pass an ordinance amending your code that now reads 5% to read whatever rate you think's appropriate. So you'd set it, and then at any point in the future, city council has the authority to go between 0 and 14%, like you've done with the marijuana tax.
And then is there a deadline by which we'd have to notify the state?
No, because this is a self-collected tax.
Okay. Thank you.
So Jeff, it's essentially a change by ordinance, right?
Right.
To,
Yep.
to make the adjustment.
Yep.
So what I do want to ask is, so when this goes into effect January 1st, sounds like to me, we need another ordinance to set the tax, right?
Yeah. What you would do is you would do it beforehand. If you want it to be in effect January 1st, I mean, you could do it at any point and then just say it's conditional upon being approved, or you could do it after approval and set it to whatever rate you want and have it go into effect by January 1st.
So I guess to clarify this, by this change here, this would mean that we would have to have another ordinance that changes the amount.
Yeah, you would anyways. You have to impose the tax via a separate ordinance. With the unchanged version, you put it to 14%.
Right.
With the revisions, you could pick.
Right.
Instead of-
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you. Other comments or questions? Council?
Oh, I just want to mention, that's how we did it with, well, we weren't on council then, but remember when the voters chose to add the art tax for a match? And then city council had to still, even though the voters said yes, city council still had to pass a separate ordinance just among council, not the voters. And they decided to postpone it for like 6 months. Remember that? So the ordinance would be up to the city council, I assume annually? Would it have to be determined annually, or just set it one time and then you don't have to mess with it unless you're changing it?
That's right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next to me. Nancy, was it your intent to make that change of motion? Is that,
Yes, a second.
I guess then if you could state it as a motion, I think we just do
Sure.
by reference Jeff's remarks.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, it's my power.
I move to approve on first reading ordinance number 1625, an ordinance submitting a ballot issue to the registered electors of the city of Manitou Springs at the city's November 4th, 2025 regular election to increase city's excise tax on ticket sales and admission fee, and set a public hearing on August 19th, 2025 at 6 p.m. with the language that Jeff just read us.
What he said.
I'll
Did you
second.
get that, Elena?
I'm going to send you a revised version, so you'll have it.
So we've captured the precise verbiage of the motion. We have a motion and we have a second by Councilor Chandler. Any further discussion, council? Let's vote then.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. Well, that clears our better part of our agenda for this evening. We are now at Receiver Act on Council Correspondence. Anybody have anything? Judith? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, just a friendly reminder that anyone interested in running for mayor or the 3 ward positions that are open, you can pick up your packets as of today in the city clerk's office, and the deadline for submitting those packets is Monday. Well, it's August 25th. Is that Monday? Yes, it's Monday, the 25th. Those are due, I think, by 5 PM, no later than 5 PM, signed, sealed, and delivered. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Oh, Nancy?
Yeah, regarding Crystal Park Road, 3 things. One is that I did see a police presence up there today looking for speeders, so that was good. Luckily, I wasn't one of them, so always a concern. Secondly, the city also put the electric sign up there saying speed is only 20 miles an hour at the right past Savelli's to remind people. And thirdly, the sign that has been there for the past several weeks that tells you if you're going too fast, that is burned out or it's not working anymore. So you might want to either, I don't know if it's battery operated or what, but it doesn't tell you what your speed is anymore. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from council? Okay, Julie?
I was contacted by some folks who live on Waltham Avenue, and they said they had contacted the police because twice a week, and I forget which days, there's some folks in the Agate Hill area who play music in the evening, and that it broadcasts, across Manitou Ave up to Waltham Ave. So they called the police and said, it's too loud, we can't stand it. And they were supposedly informed by our police that our police does not have a decibel meter machine with which to determine if noise is so loud that it violates our city ordinance. So they said they don't have a machine. I don't know if that's accurate or not. That's just what I was told, but if that is accurate, I would really like us to get that machine, whatever it's called, the decibel monitor thing. Does anybody know? Denise, do you know if we have such a thing?
Yeah, and that was managed by police and it was taken care of. So that was managed.
Well, I know it's managed, but do we have a machine that indicates whether the noise is too loud or not?
Yes, we do have a decimal meter.
We do.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nancy.
Sorry, I do have more comments. The URA this morning, the El Colorado Lodge, they have closed. The new developer has closed on that and they've started renovations and it's already looking better and they've got really exciting plans for that place. Next is they asked about signage and I couldn't remember, are all the signs in the cities being replaced or just along the Manitou Avenue or the street signs, sorry?
No, we just got the ones in the downtown area, so we don't have the money to do any additional signage.
Okay,
at this
that's
time.
what I was thinking. So basically the historic district. Yeah, okay. And how they also suggested that we might consider putting better signage at Fields Park to get people, to help people get to transit. So some wayfinding stuff because folks keep being asked how to get from Fields Park, where are we? Who are we? So anyways, that was a request. And Electra Johnson is working very closely with the folks, the developers for the fund to come up with some proposals and she's giving them all kinds of ideas. So she's working very hard to get that moving. And that's all, I guess. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anything else from council? I guess now let's go to the city administrator's report.
Mayor, do you want to mention October 28th, just so people have it on their calendar, that we're going to be doing the boards and commissions on that date?
Okay, right, yeah. Yeah, so typically we always have our boards and commissions along as part of budget season. This year, we were looking at doing it at the end of October. That gives us a little bit more time. So the idea I think is with the election, we'd get that get the boards and commissions work cleared and taken care of before we have the election, and then we'll see what our situation is. If we have to focus on the budget, we'll at least have that part done. Is that a fair assessment of what we're doing? So that would be October 28th. I know that's it's fourth Tuesday, and sometimes we don't meet on fourth Tuesdays, but that would be our plan to do that. So you can still have a Halloween party. Okay, and also I'll mention that in November, the first Tuesday, the 4th is election day, so we don't anticipate having a council meeting that day. The following Tuesday, the 11th, is Veterans Day, so city will be closed then. So we're also anticipating not having a council meeting then. Things can change, but just to get, so you can kind of plan ahead, and we'll try not to throw too many surprises at you. So anything else, Denise?
Yeah, I just want to mention that on August 14th, we will be putting something out saying that we're going to have a meeting here for the water meter changeout program so that people can ask questions, they can learn about it, they can sign up to get their water meter changed out. We'll have the individuals here who will be changing out the meters so they can ask them questions specifically. So that's August 14th here at City Hall,
Is that
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock? So that's a week from Thursday.
Yes.
Coming Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. 6 o'clock here.
Denise, could you tell me again when our annual budget retreat is?
We don't have one this year at this point because we're waiting to kind of see what happens with the elections. We do have to present you a budget by October 15th. It's required. So as I mentioned, we'll just present a very flat budget and then wait for the November, and then we'll go from there for the elections, because I don't want to spend a ton of time on a budget until we know exactly what's going to happen.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Do we have a second? I'm sorry, I'm just, I was going to give to this side of the table. I don't know if that was Michelle or Julie. Yeah. Michelle, do you want to take credit for that?
Second, sure.
Okay, so give the second to Michelle. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you all. Well, Sally, thank you. I guess we'll have a break with Sally.